Most people quit before real progress happens. Growth doesn't often feel like growth. Most often, it feels like nothing is happening and it's really frustrating and you just want to give up. But if you understand why growth feels the way that it feels, you'll be one of the few people that will actually stick with it and be able to accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish. I used to think that progress should feel exciting all the time. I used to think that if I worked super hard at something, I should see progress all the time. But life taught me otherwise. One of the things that I realized when I started this channel is that growth doesn't work the way that I used to think it worked. The first 100 subscribers that I got on this channel felt like it took forever, but there was actually some work happening behind the scenes that I now look back and realize that the process is more important than the result and that there is a science to it. Today, I'm breaking down the hardest part about growth and how you can get through it. So subscribe for my future content. Let's dive right in. Key point number one is the expectation versus the reality of growth. We expect instant results. When we create content online, when we post content online, we expect instant views. When we start our careers or are in the middle of our careers, we're expecting to make a lot of money very fast. When we do something and we work on something in our careers or in a business, we expect to be recognized for that thing almost immediately. But what actually happens is that those things will come most of the time if you just stick with it, and it's often going to feel like a very slow and frustrating process. Achieving 100 subscribers on this channel may not feel like a big milestone, but for me it is, because it is validation that the work that I'm putting in is actually producing results. Even though it took longer than I thought it would, it made me realize and taught me a lesson that growth for everybody is different, and that growth often feels slow for a lot of people, and that growth will often feel fast for a lot of people, but 9 times out of 10, it's a game of patience. There is a trap where you can get into where you think that you're putting in a lot of input with very little output, meaning that you don't feel like you're getting anything out of something. So if we take the example of going to the gym and we say, for example, you want to lose weight, the first couple of days, you're really not going to see anything. In fact, you might even see the opposite happening. And even in the first couple of weeks, it might not be the result that you're looking for. But what usually happens is when you stick with it for several months, you now start to see the results. You now start to see that weight drop. And that is because of the time factor that growth, for the most part, takes. The biggest mistake that you can make in this journey and process of growth is thinking that you're actually failing in the process, when in reality, you're actually in the middle of the process, or you're super early in the process, and you just need to be able to realize that it takes time and to get sort of creative and to find things that will motivate you and things that will keep you moving forward for you to actually see those tangible results. Key point number 2 is the expectation we all have of growth versus the reality of what actually happens. There is a concept of the unseen work, or as I've referred to before in one of my videos, linked right here if you want to check it out, the lonely chapter. This is the zone or mode or area of growth where you're developing your skills. You're not good enough yet to see the results of the skills. You haven't produced enough results yet for other people to see it, and you haven't fully developed the discipline to do that thing on a consistent basis. And it feels like you're not making any progress and you're just doing things for the sake of doing it without actually seeing any results. This is an interesting phase because if you think about professional athletes, or really any athlete who's highly skilled and who's good at their respective sport, this unseen work, or the lonely chapter, is where they made themselves into who they are. The things that they do that other people don't see, the things that they do behind closed doors that don't show any results outwardly, eventually those will compound and result into championships. They will result into wins. They will result into trophies. They will result into advancing in your career and getting that promotion. It's the things that you do behind the scenes. It's the little things, not huge jumping, but the little things that you do that often don't seem important and often seem useless. That is what really will propel you forward. Most people do those little things for a short while, but they often give up way too early. They stop way too early because they're not seeing any results immediately. So there is a notion in our mind where you start to think, well, I've been doing this for so many days or so many weeks, but because I don't see growth, it must not be working. I just need to drop it and quit and move on to something else. But most often it's because you just haven't done it long enough. Progress happens long before you can prove it. In order to prove that you've made progress at something, there has to be a lot of work that you have put in and a lot of work that you need to have done prior to actually seeing those results and realizing that progress is made within the work is going to help you reframe that mindset of growth. Key point number 3 is one of my favorites, and that is the compounding effects of small actions. Every small action that you take can add up. Let me rephrase that. Every small intentional action that you take towards the thing that you're trying to get will add up. It's about the little things. Before you can handle the big things, you must be able to handle the little things. So before you get that big goal or that big accomplishment, you have to be able to do the little things necessary for you to build up your skill, build up your discipline, and build up your consistency for you to be now able to accomplish that big thing. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of our time, of our generation, once said that compounding interest is one of the 8th wonders of investing, meaning that investment and time, the longer that you put money into the market, the more that you're going to make, because that money is going to earn a return, that money is going to make interest, and you're going to earn as that money compounds and gets bigger and bigger. It's just going to continue to multiply, and that is compound interest. The same thing applies to your life. The same thing applies to your goals and objectives, and doing the things that you need to do today in order to get to point B and point C. Those things are going to compound, and those things eventually are going to lead into growth. They're going to lead into progress, and they're going to lead into results. YouTube is a game of growth, and in order to grow on YouTube, I've learned you have to post videos. You grow one video at a time. It's going to be slow, but if you want to accomplish something serious in life, you have to stay with it. You have to stick with it. So remember that the efforts that you're putting in every single day, that is not throwaway work. That is not wasted work. Your efforts are quietly compounding, and eventually it's going to pay off. So don't quit too early. Don't stop before the payoff. Make sure that you focus in, make intentional actions every single day, allow them to compound, and remember that in order to handle the big things, you must first be able to handle the little things. So take care of the little things. If you feel like nothing is happening in your life right now, you are not alone. The key is knowing what to do in this phase. And that is why I made the video, why disappearing for a year might be the best move that you can make. Watch this video right here.